Good evening. Fun times, let me tell you. I am hacking my head off here at the last moment. What am I hearing? And where and why? Huh. That's interesting. Okay. I don't know what video she said another video's on. I don't see it. I think it might be your computer, maybe. Anyway, sorry. I'll tell you, insanity. I've got a lot of insanity for you today. I do have several news articles open to talk to you about. But I wanted to address this thing and not just to be another pile-on the pile-on. But when your persona is 10 levels more important than the information and or the news that you are covering, that's when it's time to take it down a notch. I'm just saying. I'm sure everybody knows what, or most people know what I'm referring to. I'm not going to call any of them out. They probably ought to be. But you know, the drama was so thick. For one, I couldn't listen to a whole lot of it, but the drama was so thick on one of the videos that I can't even tell you what the hell their stance is. That I would think that's counterproductive, because I don't get it. Because I did watch, I guess, at least half or whatever of one of the videos, and well, I will call him out. I didn't see anything that I would call out negative in the video. My opinion over the channel and the guy is maybe a different story, but on the video I didn't really see what the issue was. Apparently, Tractor Supply, among a group of I guess 550 or so other companies, are in support, whether directly or indirectly, to organizations that reportedly had a drag queen event in Texas in which children were present. Now, there's a lot of times I'll tell you not to, I mean, of course, you got to do everything that's within your own morals, and I think I have fairly high morals, but I would imagine that there are individuals that have higher and or just different morals than mine. But I'm not going to choose whether or not I eat a chicken sandwich on whether or not that company donates to Planned Parenthood. Right? Maybe that is, look, I get it, and I'm against abortion just as much as the next person that's against abortion. But am I doing anything aside from depriving myself of what might be a damn good chicken sandwich? I don't know. Never had either. I haven't had Popeye's chicken sandwich. I haven't had Chick-fil-A's chicken sandwich. And I'm going to be quite honest. I would love to. I would love to try both of them. Same time, preferably. I would love it. Because I don't give a damn about their politics as long as they don't cross certain lines. Let me make that clear. Because what's going on down in Texas with drag queens and children, that certainly crosses lines. That I will certainly say, do what you can to pull your support out of company. But not just that. In fact, that's the smallest part of it. Not spending money with them is the smallest way that you can harm them. Think about it. Do you think they really need your money anymore? They could close up shop right now and do just fine for the rest of your life, for the rest of their life, while you struggled for the rest of yours. They don't give no shit. Let's be honest. I mean, while they can milk that cash cow they're going to, but don't ever think for a second they need you, because they don't. I find it very concerning, and the reason why I find it very concerning what's happening as far as the drama queen part about the, drag queen story, is because, again, the persona is what's been made more important. And, I'm sitting here now and I haven't dug into it. I know Doug had said on his channel that you could go to Tractor Supply, you could look at their mission statement. I went to Tractor Supply, I did dig around a little bit. I did see concerning things. There are no two ways about that. But that's where my personal investigation, if you will, or research ended. I didn't continue to dig to see whether or not they were in direct support or indirect support of this event down in Texas. Because to be honest, I saw enough on their website. I didn't need to see anything more. I didn't even need to go that far. Do you know what? It wouldn't even matter to me with what I saw on their website, whether or not there was a drag queen event down in Texas that involved children. Doesn't make a bit of difference as to whether or not I would recommend pulling support from that company. I would recommend it anyway. And in my opinion, I think that's what should have been focused on. I don't know. Again, I don't even know the opposing channel what their issue was, because they were such a train wreck. I don't understand it. I don't understand it. And maybe there's information I got wrong and I'm misunderstanding all of it. I don't know, but I mean, that response was just, there's no excuse for it. I'm sorry. Those are not leaders, folks. Leaders do not teach you to lead your life emotionally whipped up in turmoil. That's not a leader. That's an attention seeker. And I'm sure there's a lot of people there that's what they're there for. They're there for the train wreck. It's entertainment for them. And I guess if you can swallow your morals enough to be good with that, whatever. But I couldn't. Not for a buck. Not for anything, to be honest. But damn well not for a buck. I think it's crazy what's going on, and I do think it needs addressed by us, but again, pulling financial support is the least damage we're going to do. The most damage, and I think I didn't mention it a while ago when I started talking about it, the most damage you can do is speaking up and making damn sure that everybody you know, everybody you talk to, knows about this. Don't argue with people. If there's people that support Tractor Supply or these other companies or whatever, or they support the agenda, either way, don't waste your time. Don't try to change their minds. Don't try to convince them. Move on. It's time to quit trying to wake the sheep. It's time to gather the wolves. The lions, not the wolves. I'll get it right. Either way, it works either way. Wolves are commonly given a negative connotation, if you will. I don't know. They're wolves to me. They're dogs. I don't know. But I'm the kind of guy that does not belong around animals like that, because I'm the guy that, would say in my obituary that I couldn't resist petting it. So, there's that. And I couldn't. You could put me somewhere where there's a leopard or there's a lion or a tiger, and I'm telling you, I have a huge love for not only cats, but big cats. Never been around one, never any closer or any more contact than with a glass thing in between us, but would love it. Would love it. Anyway, squirrel. The best thing that you can do is talk to people. And people that are accepting of the information, just make sure they know the correct information, and that please make sure that the information is what is important, not the drama around the situation. That is not important. The drama, the screaming, the upset, none of that's important about this. None of that's important. And the more you do that, believe it or not, the more people will tune it out. It's counterproductive. It might get more attention, but in many cases, the human mind will tune it out. If you want to educate somebody, you don't do it that way. You don't do it by being a circuit sideshow freak. You either educate them in just a clear, concise manner, or if you want to throw a spin to it and really do a good job, you introduce humor. You can teach more people more things faster with humor than anything ever. But teaching them with a level of drama, with a level of anger, with a level of fear-mongering, with a level of any of that, is not productive to a teaching environment. And I know there's vets here going, oh, bullshit. You need to go through boot camp. We're not training civilization to be soldiers. We're trying to retrain civilization to be humans. They're not the same. For good reason. And in fact, you sign up to be a soldier to protect the ability for others to be humans. If you want to be really honest about it. Well, that's what you're supposed to be doing anyway. And I fully believe that the large majority of those of you that do sign that dotted line, that's absolutely why you did it. I'm just not so convinced that that's how your government's used you. But, there's one other thing I've got to say involving this whole ordeal. It is an important thing to discuss. It is an important thing to pass around, to let people know, to address. Most importantly, address. But also, let's not lose sight of the fact that we have some very clear and imminent threats on our horizon. And if we get overly wrapped up in this other stuff, which is important, I'm not downplaying what's going on, not even remotely. But I guarantee you, in the current situation, your family could suffer from famine a lot faster than what they're going to just directly and immediately suffer from a drag queen show in Texas. I'm just saying. Let's not let them jerk us around and distract us too much or for too long. Because we have far more important things that are right in front of us. In fact, I've got a lot of that here tonight, in my opinion. Got one thing involving a little bit of drama I'm not going to spend a lot of time with. I told you drama, right? So, I guess it's yay. I thought it was ye. I kept calling him ye. But Tim Pool said yay, so I guess it's yay. Yay? Freak. I'm sorry if if you change your name like that, and I don't care if you're Kanye West or you're Prince, and I liked Prince, you're a freak. I did like Prince. Not so much Kanye, but that's neither here nor there. It's not about how I feel about his music. It's about reality, which I don't mean the reality TV that our current politics are, but this reality. Wow, he was he was kind of on Tim Pool's show last night. I didn't watch it all. I only needed to watch about 2 minutes. And I don't know if that's all he was there. I don't know if Tim, sat down and started the show, done the introductions, because they go around and do introductions and stuff. I don't know if he got through all of that and then sat down and boom, that was out of the gate, and within 2 minutes he was off the set. I don't know. But I know that if you can't sit on the set, hey, look at that. I said that fine. If you can't sit on the set at Tim Pool's and deal with hard questions, if you'd even call that hard question, okay. If you can't sit on Tim Pool's set and deal with softball questions being thrown your way, I'm just gonna guess you're not ready to run the United States of America? I don't know. I don't know why. Maybe I'm wrong. But, I think that Xi Jinping would probably be a little bit more intimidating to deal with than Tim Pool. I'm not making fun of Tim Pool when I'm saying that. Tim Pool is not a threat. Okay? Now, I'm not saying you couldn't piss Tim Pool off enough that he wouldn't throw a punch. But I'm telling you, you would have to really be pushing and not letting up on that button. Because I believe he's a hothead. I absolutely believe he's a hothead. But that doesn't mean that he acts out on that violence. At least not to everybody. I've got questions. Ye just ran off the set, and he was asked a question about, and I don't remember exactly, but something to do with his comments. I mean, he wanted right out of the bat to talk, or right out of the gate to talk about this, and Tim even said he kind of wanted to hang on, but out of the gate, Ye wanted to do this. Kanye, I'm not doing this. I'm not doing that. Kanye, out of the gate. He wanted to talk about it. And, well, here. It's got a little bit of it. Rapper Kanye West has claimed that the U.S. Internal Revenue Services froze his bank accounts, blocking access to $75 million because of alleged tax liabilities. He suggested that he's being persecuted for expressing incendiary opinions about Jewish people. I'm talking about literally finding out that they were trying to put me in prison, West said on Monday night's Timcast IRL podcast, recounting his telephone conversation with a financial advisor earlier in the day. They put a $75 million hold on 4 of my accounts, and then they said, you owe a lot of taxes. It took me like 6 hours to find out what a lot was, they said. Well, around $50 million. West said he was relieved to find out that he could still run for president in 2024, even if he's imprisoned for tax evasion. He defended his past comments about the influence wielded by Jewish people in the entertainment industry, at one point comparing himself to civil rights leader Martin Luther King Jr. I thought that was a little nuts. And here, no one's going to denounce the fact that they tried to lock me up, West said. I thought I was more Malcolm X, but I found out I'm more MLK because I'm getting hosed down every day by the press and financially. I'm just standing there. When I found out that they tried to put me in jail, it was like a dog was biting my arm, and I almost shed a tear. Almost. I mean, what? Look, if he is being unjustly targeted by the IRS, that absolutely needs to be looked into, and it needs to be addressed. It's nowhere near the first time that there's been political aims with the IRS. I mean, I've sat there and I think probably either the first or second favorite reporter ever is a man by the name of Larry Connors from St. Louis. And the only one I can think of that I may put above him would be a man by the name of Julius Hunter, who also worked in St. Louis. I've got to say that. I've got to say this. Sorry. Not sorry, whatever. But I've got to tell this. Back during one of the child abduction events, and I can't remember exactly which one. I apologize for that. But a long time ago, there was a little girl abducted. I think it was out west. And I want to say that it was after she was discovered, if I'm not mistaken. And he was doing his anchor report. And you could see the sorrow, the anger. You could see it just well up. And that news was different back then. That stuff was not accepted on the news. Emotions were not accepted. Nonsense opinions really, I mean, you'd have your opinion moment on the news, but your news part was news. Back in those days. One of the reasons I do this, I remember watching a man that I've seen report for years and maintain absolute complete composure and do an incredible job at reporting. Or not reporting, but anchoring. And he couldn't hold it. He was so angry. He was so hurt. Big black man. Bawling. And at the same time, you could see he just wanted to scream. about that little white girl out west. That was insane. And I just had to share that. I don't know. That's probably a part of what put me in this direction, I'm sure. But Larry Connors is the other one. Larry. I love Larry. Larry worked for KMOV in St. Louis. And he got an interview with Barack Obama. And Larry may or may not have asked a question or so that wasn't pre-approved. And yeah, there was retribution over that, and it destroyed. It really, to be honest, it destroyed his career. I think he's still doing, because he was on YouTube, and I was seeing his videos on Facebook as well. Hang on. Now I'm concerned. Sorry. And, you know, it's one of those things that if you don't keep up on it, you know, you'll miss it. Here we go. Let me see the last post. 5 hours, so. Yeah, apparently he's fine. I just haven't been seeing his posts. I don't know if he's not on YouTube anymore or what. But anyway, yeah, he wound up in all kinds of hot water with the IRS as a result of asking those questions. So, anyway, I won't belittle the idea that he may have been unfairly targeted, and I think that needs to be addressed if that's the case. But as far as this run for president, that needs to be shot down out of the gate, and also as far as his comments towards I don't know what they are. I don't know what he's got to say. All I heard was that little bit on Tim's show, and he didn't even give a position. He more or less just referred to Jewish people as they. Tim kind of more or less, I guess, put him on the spot as far as who do you mean by they? You know, clarify they more or less. I'm pretty sure that's really all Tim did. I didn't hear anything more than that. And he got upset and left. But I can answer that question. I can answer that real easy. Who do you mean by they? Because in my opinion, I do think there is a they. But I don't think it's an entire belief system and its followers, its worshippers, whatever you know. But there is something called Zionism, and there are Zionists, and I will call them out. They damn well should be called out, and you should be damn well worried about, and here I am not getting the name of the law in my head again. And see, just the other day I covered it. I don't know what's wrong, folks, because this stuff never used to happen to me. Not this kind of absent-mindedness. Noahide. Ha! Noahide law. Absolutely you should be against those things. But not the all of the Jewish people. No, absolutely not. Incredible people. Incredible, dedicated, spiritual people. So, yeah, that was a fair question to ask them to clarify who they was. Okay, next up that I want to talk about is this. And this is beyond concerning. And, well, once again, we're in a situation where, I'm just addressing this information. I don't like Stewart Rhodes, not one bit. I don't like Oath Keepers, not one bit. However, do I think that Stewart Rhodes of Oath Keepers should have been found guilty of sedition? No. No. And maybe I'm missing some huge stuff. But come on. Let's back up a little bit, and because we never have been allowed to actually address what happened that day anyway, because they keep backing everybody into a corner with this whole, and this is why you avoid people that want to make it more about the emotion and more about the drama than the actual information. January 6th is the perfect example of that. So whether it's CNN that's doing that, sensationalizing the news about January 6th, or whether or not it's YouTubers sensationalizing the news about, or anything around it, like to that level, how is it any different? I don't know. But anyway, this is insane. And it actually even caused me, and I mean, it's kind of like a no duh, right? It actually even caused me earlier to look up sedition. I wanted to see, and I read this here and then I read this over here. Conduct or speech inciting people to rebel against the authority of a state or monarch. Sedition is overt conduct such as speech and organization that tends toward rebellion against the established order. And when I saw that, I was like, full stop. So what you're basically telling me is it is illegal for me to even agree with or discuss the Declaration of Independence. Really. So, even if we discuss it amongst one another, that now becomes sedition. And when I say talk about it, I don't mean talk about the history of it, I mean talk about the now of it. Because there is a now of it. And if you don't think there is, you need to go refamiliarize yourself with the Declaration of Independence. But if you're here, let's not waste your time. I know you already know. But I looked it up just so that I could be crystal clear. And this is insane. This is insane. I mean, I could go on. Any of us could go on about this. We could talk about Hunter Biden's laptop. We could talk about Ghislaine Maxwell and her connections, Epstein and his connections. We could go on and on. But they're going to charge Stewart Rhodes, who honestly really was doing nothing but making a bunch of money and pissing in the wind. That's why I didn't like him, and that's why I didn't like his organization. It was just to make money. That's what it was. It was just to make money. That's the way many organizations are. This is crazy. What happened, and again, if there's something hinky with what happened with Kanye, I don't know, no clue. Well, not an if. I mean, this is nonsense. When I said a little bit ago that the threat to us is very much more imminent than what's going to come from a drag queen ordeal in Texas, yeah, just a little bit. And again, I'm not trying to lessen what happened down there at all. Make sure you talk to anybody and everybody you speak to. You make sure they know about that. Not downplaying it for a second. But, I don't know, you might also want to let them know about this. And about storing food and supplies and preparedness and, become the crazy neighbor. Go ahead. Let's see. No, seriously, talk to people, folks. You don't have to let everybody know what you've got or your, deep plans or anything like that. But, man, I'm telling you, the biggest help you can do for yourself is to convince those people that are around you in your community that they might want to have some extra food on hand and maybe a few extra supplies. That is going to help you. It's a force multiplier. It is. It really truly is. It really truly is. You don't even have to have a mag. You don't even have to meet up with the guys at the range. Mm-hmm. No, you don't even got to do any of that. I mean, if you want to, that surely isn't going to hurt anything. The more you coordinate, the better. However, as long as the supplies are there, hey, look, I'm not a doctor. I've said it many times. If you're hurt and I'm the cat you see standing over you, holy shit. But I've got a pretty good med kit in there, and I do have it's a very, very light surgical kit that's in it. And I've got suture kits and all that. Do I know how to do that stuff? Nope. Nope. Do I want to? Yeah, actually I do. Can I afford to go out and run and pay several $100s for training? No. Should that be what makes the difference, whether or not lives could be saved? I don't know. I guess that's up to your morals, eh? But, I still got the equipment, right? Because just because I don't know doesn't mean that my neighbor might not know. In fact, I'm pretty sure we've got two neighbors for a fact that could probably use much of what I've got in that. I mean, knowledgeably use it. Most of it. I'm not quite sure they'd be trained on suturing and stuff. It might be, but I kind of doubt it. Make sure, you're at least talking. I know I've squirreled again, but make sure that you're at least talking to people. Because as long as they've got some food put back, they've got some supplies put back, that, what was that thing that G.I. Joe used to say? Or whoever, not Cobra, I guess. Knowing is half the battle, right? And that's true. Having is half the battle in this instance. We've already came down to agreement it's going to take a community, right? Your 10, 12 guy group probably isn't going to do it. Sorry, it's not. Let's see. Pentagon frets over China's nuclear program. See you later, Major Payne. I know, I'm jabbering like hell tonight. I'm like not even hardly through this, and it's quarter till. I'll try to make it brief. China is rapidly building up its nuclear weapons capabilities and is on pace to nearly quadruple the number of warheads in its arsenal by 2035, narrowing its firepower gap with the U.S., the Pentagon has warned. Over the next decade, the PRC, People's Republic of China, aims to modernize, diversify, and expand its nuclear forces, the Pentagon said on Tuesday in its annual report on China's military strength. The buildup is far larger and more complex than a nuclear modernization initiative that China undertook a decade ago, the report added. Beijing currently has about 400 nuclear warheads, the Pentagon said, up from a previous estimate of 350. At the current pace of development, the stockpile will increase to about 1,000 warheads by the end of this decade and to 1,500 by 2035. By comparison, the U.S. has 3,750 active warheads and a total stockpile of more than 5,000. The Chinese expansion will likely outpace potential developments by the nuclear forces of any adversary and could plausibly threaten the PRC ability to retaliate against the first strike, the Pentagon said, adding that China's military aims to possess the capability for mutually assured destruction, discouraging any would-be attackers. America's generals have repeatedly pointed to China as the top threat to the U.S. national security, saying Beijing is the only competitor out there with both the intent to reshape the international order and increasingly the power to do so. Chinese officials have pushed back against such warnings, saying that Washington has an outdated Cold War mentality and zero-sum mindset. U.S. officials have expressed concern that as China's nuclear prowess grows, the country's leaders may rethink their policy against launching a nuclear first strike. What we're looking at here, it raises some questions, I think, about their intent, a senior defense official said in a press briefing before Tuesday's report was released. For its part, Washington has refused to rule out its own first strike option or the possibility of using nuclear weapons against a non-nuclear threat. So anyway, there's something really interesting in this. Because not only the news, but also many, many, many members of your government, both on red team and blue team, have you all whipped up in a frenzy over Russia. And I absolutely agree mostly with the Pentagon's assessment. Russia isn't showing me in any way an intent to take over the world or even that whole region. I think Russia wants to liberate areas that, from what I can tell, largely want them to liberate them. So, am I supposed to say, no, it shouldn't matter what the people want? Am I supposed to say that? Especially with what all has happened over there, the dissolution, or the dissolving of the USSR, all the breakaway nations, and then the ordeal in 2014, and I don't see any intent by Putin to take over the world, or even what's not asked of him to take by the people. I'm just saying. I don't see it. I don't see it. China, I think China wants to economically take over the world, and I think that they want to own the world. I'm not saying necessarily be in control of, but I could be wrong there. And if there were a country on this planet that would possibly like to own the world, it would be China. So I absolutely believe that the assessment is correct, that they are our biggest threat. For many reasons, not just militarily. But I don't, I'm not going to sit there and point at them and call them bad guys for building up their nuclear arsenals when we're doing the same. There's something about placing military bases all around the world and kind of trying to play the world police that at some point is probably going to put some of the other nations on a bit of an edge. That is what it is, Folks, self-accountability is, and when I say self-accountability, I mean that goes everywhere from your shoes to your president to beyond. Self-accountability is important, because without self-accountability it is impossible to have integrity, and without integrity you have nothing. Anyway. NATO revisiting idea of supplying Kiev with fighter jets, says former Supreme Commander. And I always want to do the echo with that too. Supreme Commander. I need an echo button. I really need that echo button. Space Force and Supreme Commander. They both need an echo button. NATO leaders are considering a possible U-turn on providing Ukraine with advanced fighter jets. James Stavridis, retired Supreme Allied Commander and U.S. Navy Admiral, claimed in an op-ed published by Bloomberg on Tuesday. According to the gentleman, because I'll butcher his name, the bloc could send fighter jets such as Soviet-designed MiG-29s, which are currently in use in Poland, as well as U.S. surplus F-16s, which he describes as simple-to-learn multi-role fighters. Retired Admiral also suggested that the West will eventually oblige Ukrainian President Vladimir Zelensky requests to help close the country's airspace and provide an increased number of high-end air-to-surface missile systems, as well as Israeli-made Iron Dome and NATO Patriot batteries. That is insane. Now, again, this is some cat opining. Okay, this is not a signed contract. Okay, but I agree with his assessment. Now, I can't tell you whether or not it'd go as far as the Iron Dome stuff and all of that. I don't know about that. But when it comes to the MiG-29s, F-16s, and weapon systems for them, absolutely. Absolutely. And I've been calling that. Ever since they very first said they wouldn't do it. I'm like, they're going to do it. That's how that works. China warned away U.S. warship. China's military has said that its forces have followed and warned away the American guided missile cruiser USS Chancellorsville, wow, after it approached the Nansha, also called the Spratly Islands in South China Sea, earlier on Tuesday. The arrival without prior Chinese authorization of the U.S. warship near the islands, which Beijing considers to be a part of its territory, was a serious violation of China's sovereignty and security, the country's military spokesman Tian Junli declared. The move was further proof that Washington is working towards militarization of the South China Sea, Tian said, adding that the U.S. was a provocateur against peace in the region. The spokesman reiterated the Chinese military's commitment to protecting the country's sovereignty and to upholding stability in the South China Sea. The U.S. Navy's 7th Fleet has rejected the Chinese accusations as false, insisting that USS Chancellorsville has been carrying out a freedom of navigation operation in the area in line with international law. The U.S. challenges excessive maritime claims around the world regardless of the identity of the claimant, it said. And it goes into about the Spratlys and all of that, but... and, I don't get it. I don't get it. Is China actively actually causing harm over there right now? And I'm asking. They might be. I'm not defending. I don't know. I'm asking the question. Is China actively, however you want to put it, terrorizing or causing problems or causing issues for others in the area that are trying to get through? Or is it just, like U.S. military ships that they're like, hey, wait a minute. Because there is a difference between Jun Lee taking his boat of sandals to go get retreads. I don't know. You make up the story. Let's see. Ukrainians complain over Starlink price hike. I saw that headline and I'm like, yeah, I you know what? I can think of some people that are upset over extra costs involving Ukraine. Probably a bunch of people that wouldn't be really amused about them complaining about their increasing internet cost. Because I'm pretty sure we're paying more for food and fuel and just about anything else because of all this. So, pardon me, and I'm sorry. I looked and I haven't been able to find it because it is that small. I would play for you the world's smallest violin, but I can't even find it. Sorry, I misplaced it. Oops. U.S. nuclear official and LGBTQ activist faces theft charges. This whole damn thing is disturbing. Blue quit. She's disturbed by it. She's over there scruffing. Hey, I'm doing the show, yo. I'll have to address your needs and wants afterwards. Let's see. She's over there scruffing for some reason. Could be just simply because I'm doing the show. That is reason enough. Anyway, the top U.S. official in charge of handling nuclear waste has been charged with stealing a woman's baggage worth more than $2,300 at the Minneapolis-St. Paul International Airport this fall. Sam Brinton made headlines earlier this year for becoming the first openly gender-fluid kink lifestyle practitioner in federal leadership. Double snap. I suck at that. According to court documents obtained by local outlet Alpha News, which broke the story on Monday evening. Sorry, I am so easily amused. Surveillance footage showed Brinton taking a Vera Bradley suitcase off the baggage carousel at MSP on September 16th. Still laughing at my own idiot self. The action was puzzling because the official had flown into Minnesota from Washington, D.C. without any checked bags. Brinton then returned to D.C. with the bag in tow and used it again on a trip to Europe. Sorry. I see a freak, I'm gonna laugh. And I'm sorry, I've got a right to my opinion. If I had taken the wrong bag, oh, you did. I suspect you've taken a few wrong bags, sir. I am happy to return it, but I don't have any clothes for another individual. Let's not even go there. That was my clothes when I opened the bag, Brinton reportedly told police in the initial interview after coming back from Europe on October 9. The official later admitted to taking someone else's bag and leaving the contents in a hotel room. Sorry, I cannot maturely read this. House cleaning. We need you to take care of these contents from this other man's bag. No clothing was recovered from the hotel room, and the victim never got her bag back. Well, at least it was a her. We have another sniffer. Hexaboose. Oh man, this is ate up. We need to fix this, folks. Okay? Top U.S. official in charge of handling nuclear waste can't even manage to keep his hands off other people's bags. However you want to take that. And, holy moly. Anyway, we really, we do need to address that issue, though. I mean, the all of the issue, not just the handbag. God. Sodom and Gomorrah, anyone? NATO to boost presence in Baltics and Black Sea. China must press North Korea to abandon nuclear arms, says Seoul. Italy to impose new tax on energy companies, says Reuters. And as we've talked before, whether it was about Italy or other countries, that's just going to go right back to the consumer. Always does. Oh no, they have to get rate hikes approved, and oh yeah, they'll just extra fee you to death. They got ways around that. I know that there's supposed to be protections, and I know that there's supposed to be, and I can only speak here. I've only lived here, but I know there's supposed to be protections on that stuff, and I know that here, it's not so easy for a power company just to say tomorrow that, oh, we're going to charge this much. And I believe in many places they're supposed to have, coordination with individuals within the government and blah, blah, blah to make sure that everything's done on the up and up. Regulatory committees, right? In some instances, they're great. In other instances, they're nightmares. Kind of a necessary evil, if you will. And you know me, I'm not one for evil of any kind, not even a little bit. But, like on our bill, and I don't know the details, so I'm not making any kind of claims or anything like that, but I know like on our bill, we've got, your weight your weight, your fee, and then, like I said, your rate, and then what we'll also have on there is an extra charge of some kind, and Jen's not in here at the moment, and I don't know that she would know the exact wording off the top of her head. But there's some type of an adjustment fee or, an adjustment charge on the bill as well. And again, I'm not saying this is for a fact or anything, but I'm pretty sure that goes up and down. And if that adjustment fee can go up and down like that at the whim of, say, the city, because that's who we get our power from. Let me clarify that. We get our power from the city. They buy it from Ameren and then resells it to us. So, could the city just up and say, oh, well, we're going to take it upon ourselves to charge an extra 2 cents per kilowatt hour? Can they do that on their own? I don't know. But I would imagine that a lot of these power companies, probably including ours, can do that without having to go through any of the hoops for the rate hikes. That's probably why those fees were put there. Anyway, squirrel. Iran looks to enter Russian car market. U.S. approves arms sales to NATO applicant. They haven't approved them to me yet. A Russian military gets new space asset. Oh, yeah? You know what? They don't have space, boars. Telling you. UK PM proclaims new era in relations with China. India boosts Russian oil imports, says Reuters. China warned away U.S. warship. Oh, covered that. Sorry. Moscow warns of risks arising from oil price cap. Russia and China bypassing SWIFT, says Deputy PM. Russian oil keeps flowing amid EU gas price cap uncertainties, says Bloomberg. NATO revisiting idea of supplying key... Oh, I did read that. A downturn in Eurozone will worsen, warns Lagarde. Australia to withdraw tens of thousands in COVID-19 fines. Thought that was interesting. NATO to double down on offer to Ukraine, says Bloomberg. Ukraine gets more Soviet-era weapons from NATO member. IOC chief calls for anti-Russia sanctions to continue. Russia pushing for gas union in Central Asia. Germany has no alternatives to Russian gas, says MP. Kremlin outlines conditions for Ukraine talks. Moscow lodges complaint to Vatican. Christians now make up less than half of England and Wales' population. Mental health issues plague the youth in England. I'm going to go out on a limb here and say mental health issues plague the youth in many nations, maybe even most. I think social media and perhaps some of the games, not all, I'm not saying every game is bad, but some of the games and social media are much the culprit. Twitter quietly changes COVID-19 policy. Again, beware. I really think that there's an attempt to win people's hearts and minds. I'm telling you, I don't think it's a good idea. The U.S. kicks China out of nuclear project. Israeli officials slam director over propaganda claim. Stowaways spent 11 days trapped on a ship rudder. Really? I bet I can't. I don't know. You think I can? I gotta try it, right? You don't know unless you try. Stowaways spent 11 days trapped on a ship rudder. Nah, I can't say it and hold my tongue at the same time. Canada explains its ambiguous stance on China. Kanye West says U.S. government froze his bank accounts. Serbian president comments on Ukraine conflict twist. EU country urges Ukraine to strike Russia. Ukraine's and that was Ukrainians. I can't read. No, actually, and I do want to comment on that. I can actually read and see fine. Not sure. Last night I got off the show. And it eased up, but when that happened, that wasn't the only thing going on. Look, if you ever expect me to tell you that I need medical attention, I better know I'm dying first. Like that moment, as in I'm keeling over dying. There were other things that were happening at the same time that I was having the vision problems. One of the things was that I got like super hot. I mean, I've got like overheated super hot at the same time it was going on. I have no idea, but it eased up, and hey, I'm here, so, yeah. I didn't croakage. I just wanted to let folks know. If anybody was worried, I'm sure not a lot of people even watch, so... U.S. may declare Putin ally terrorist, says Bloomberg. Pentagon, cover that. Washington approves $1 billion arms sale to Qatar. And, that's, I didn't know that we got into a big, body donor business. I don't know. It's a stupid joke. Forget it. I couldn't get it out right. Then there's the Oath Keeper story. So that's it. That's the headline. I am gonna scooch on out of here and relax, get to bed. Try to. I'll go in there and toss and turn for several hours until I wear myself out and fall asleep. There you go. How's that for accuracy? Anyway, I am out of here. I hope you all have a good evening. God willing, I will see you tomorrow. As always, God bless you. We love you. Be one with your spirit. And shalom.